Meltdown presents The Disney Click with Rick and Briers. This podcast is sponsored by Meltdown Comics and Collectibles in Hollywood, California. Find Meltdown on meltcomics.com. The Disney Click is also sponsored by comicsfix.com. Comicsfix.com, your online subscription comic book service. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Disney Click with your hosts, myself, Briers.
And I'm Rick. Welcome back.
Welcome.
So today, good show.
Mm-hmm.
I will call this the D23 preview show, although that's just a small part of our show, but the upcoming D23 Convention in Anaheim, all things Disney, for those who don't know. And Briers is going to talk a little bit about that, and I'll interject as well. I'm a little jealous that you get to go, and I unfortunately won't be able to go.
I'm sorry.
So
I wish we could have gone together.
That's okay.
But
maybe in 2 years we'll go again.
I'll represent for the Disney Click.
Okay,
do my best.
And then as well as the D23 preview, we're going to talk a little bit about Ant-Man and the Marvel universe in general, which is, as you all know, owned by Disney. That tends to be one of my favorite subjects. So I'm going to really enjoy talking about that, and we'll see what Briers has to say about that. We have a Disney list. Top 5 is tips and tricks for Disneyland. And we're going to wrap up with a discussion of Disneyland's 60th anniversary celebration, a couple of the things they have going on. A little bit late to the party here, being that it's towards the end of the summer, but it's
There's
really
still plenty of time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and it's gonna go on this whole year, so it's all relevant.
Yeah.
So let's start off with D23, the big Disney convention that's happening in Anaheim this August, coming up here. What do you got for us, Briers?
Pack your bags for Disney travel.
Okay, so I am going to be attending the D23 convention. I've never been. I've only known about it from rumors, hearing about it, and going to the park and seeing advertisements. So I'm really, really excited. I don't really know what to expect, except past convention, what they're usually like. But there are a few segments I'm hoping to attend, or panels, one of which is Welcome to Zootopia, the newest film from Disney Animation Studios, which also brought you Big Hero 6 and Frozen, Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph. And they've been cranking out really great films lately, thanks in no small part to John Lasseter. For another day, our go-to, our phrase.
Yes.
Our catchphrase.
But that's a discussion for another day.
It really is.
And that should be the name of this podcast, frankly.
But yeah, I'm really excited about Zootopia, and I hope they have maybe some fun, behind the scenes or preview of that film. Also, there's a discussion on Toy Story. 20 years later, the original crew looks back, which I am just so excited about that one. So, again, I don't know if I'll be able to make it into these. I know it can be, you're shuffling around with scheduling, and there's different rooms going on. So I'm not guaranteed. Yeah.
That'll be an interesting one. I really would like to see that one. We have a soft spot, as we've said, for Toy Story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Huge soft spot.
Yeah.
And also, going with that, there's a Pixar Secrets Revealed. Hear the stories they didn't want you to know. I don't know what that means or how that's going to translate, but that sounds really interesting. It's no small secret, I adore Pixar. So I think anything that Pixar has to say, I want to be there.
Do you think they're going to announce a yet unnamed Pixar movie? I mean, I know we're getting ahead. They have a lot of the slate.
I know they have
planned.
so much. They have so much already announced.
A lot of sequels, though.
Surprised.
It's a lot of sequels.
I know, and that's kind of, they've made this promise that it would be alternating. But I mean, we have Inside Out and Good Dinosaur, so 2 originals in the same year. So then they're kind of
then they go to Finding Dory and
Toy Story 4,
and then The Incredibles 2.
The Incredibles 2. Mm-hmm.
Right. I gotta feel like
there's one in there. I
don't think there is, though. I mean,
they're okay.
I remember looking at it at the slate.
There's definitely one coming out on the South American holiday
the Day of the Dead. You talking about the Latin?
Yes,
the Latin...
yeah, that one's still
Right,
in the
okay.
works. It might be pretty far off.
That's a
There's
Pixar.
some
Okay,
sequels.
yeah.
I know it's tough. It's tough because they have all these sequels lined up. So I don't know. That would be projecting to like 2017 or 18.
Right.
So possibly.
I mean,
don't
it's
know.
not that far off, but it's far off enough that I'm not sure they have it.
Right.
There. But that's the cool
Maybe
thing.
they would just release something about.
Right.
I'd love like a Finding Dory thing. That would be cool.
Right. Well, that's the
But
cool
this
thing
sounds
about
like it's gonna be
D23.
more just looking in
Right.
behind the scenes of
Right.
Pixar.
But they do things like this. That's what D23 was going to say. The cool thing about D23 is there's a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
That I don't know how many they're going to have, and sometimes they don't follow
Exciting.
through on them. They had this Orange Harvest thing 2 years ago that in relation to a Star Wars land coming, and here we are 2 years later, and no announcement or say of any sort of Star Wars land. That'll probably happen this year, I think. But so we'll see. I'm curious to see about that.
And there could be with the Star Wars film. I don't know if there's
Well,
anything with that.
That's the there's another panel, D23 panel on that. That's Worlds, Galaxies, and Universes live action.
But
at
that
the
would
Walt
include
Disney
Star
Studio.
Wars
Yeah.
and Marvel.
Oh,
so
that's
it's not just specifically Star Wars.
No.
Right.
But
All the
that's
live action
movies.
films.
Those are movies. And
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
sort of hoping that that's the one of two that I really, really would want to go to.
It'd be great for us to, because these are all happening. It's
Yeah,
tough
I
because
know,
they happen
I
within
know.
the same.
But I love
short
Star
time
Wars
frame.
and I love Marvel.
I do
and,
as well.
Yeah,
but
but it's
Pixar takes the
something
cake.
that I want to see out of that. By the way,
It'd
is
be great for us to go together and
the Haunted
wrap.
Mansion, movie
the
that's rumored to be
film.
out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Isn't there? I would
Who's
lose my
directing?
mind. Well,
It's someone Jon Favreau
Guillermo,
is attached.
Guillermo del
or-
Toro
Oh,
talked
okay,
about
okay.
it, but he has so much on
Just
his
think
plate
of that Eddie Murphy one.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just,
I have
that's
this
a
little. That's like
classic blunder.
that's my number one wish on my mind is that
didn't
they
exist.
no they surprise you and say and we have Haunted Mansion slated and here's the director to talk about it and it's
Yeah.
slated for this time and we're going into development or into production in next winter. That would be my ultimate
I'll keep my ears open, feelers out
right.
for it.
Well, we'll hear
Yeah.
about it even if you're not in the panel. We'll hear about it.
I
But
can
so that's and I also would
tweet
like
you live or something.
I would also like to hear about Doctor Strange. They haven't started filming yet. They
Yeah,
filmed this,
I'm excited
this
about
fall
that one.
or winter.
I'm really
I
excited.
really want to hear or see if there's anything new on that because that's like Doctor Strange is. I mean, I'm looking forward to Captain America: Civil War, which is they've started shooting.
Is he one of your favorites?
Who Captain America?
No,
or
Doctor Strange.
I didn't grow up loving him, but as I've learned more about him and what he's about, and Benedict Cumberbatch, who's going to play Doctor Strange.
Oh
is
my
one of my
gosh,
favorite. I love
that's
Sherlock. Love the
brilliant
show Sherlock
casting.
BBC. That I can honestly say I can't wait for that one. I think that could
Yeah.
be really cool. And
I wasn't as familiar, but I've recently looked Doctor Strange up with the casting that's happening, and I love the story.
Right.
I tend to really like the Marvel films that are the more obscure ones that people don't know about.
Right.
I find those are really fascinating versus the ones that everyone, the more
then
cliche ones. So I think I'm really gonna like it.
Well, we can get into that a little bit with our
Yeah.
discussing the Marvel universe and Ant-Man in particular. So that's the world, the live action Disney. Was there another one? There's another one that both of us are very much looking forward to.
The theme park?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The what is it called? The theme park presentation. Sorry, I don't know what it's called. I have lost it.
I think it was like parks and attractions and more, just alluding to that they're going to be discussing what's going on in the parks. And I hope that'll extend past. We've recently learned about Shanghai Disney, and I want to know a little more about what's happening here in the States.
They're going to announce, I think they're going to announce, or I'm predicting they're going to announce Walt Disney World stuff. The Disney Studios. I just don't see how they're not going to announce something Star Wars.
A Pixar land.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
Yeah,
Something's happening there.
That'll be great. That's
exciting. I also, along with Doctor Strange and the Haunted Mansion, I'm really hoping that they're going to surprise us and finally give us Star Wars Land or a Marvel Land or something in Disneyland. Disneyland.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get anything like that.
Where would they fit it?
Well, if you look at maps, there's room and places they can put the Hollywood Land and
they could get rid of the Tiki Room and put it there.
Right. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Because you hate Walt. You hate Walt Disney.
That's aggressive and out of line and not true. I love Walt. I just don't like the Tiki Room.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm really, and I want to go back a minute because I failed to express how excited I am for the new Star Wars. However, the new Star Wars movie. But I might be in the minority here is in that I think we might get a new trailer at the D23 convention. I don't want to see any more from the movie. I think what they've shown us has completely... I'm going to see it. People are going to see it. We don't need to see more. I want it to be... I know there's no shot that we're never going to see another piece of footage to the movie. I know that. But
I agree.
I think we might get a new trailer.
I'm surprised because J.J. Abrams is notorious in the past for films like Super 8 and really keeping the lid on top of the secrets, you know? The trailer is still a teaser, and right. I love that. I love showing up to the film and being like, wait, I don't really actually know much of the plot or characters. And there's a magic to that, and that enhances your experience. Right. And that was a frustration I had with Inside Out and a lot of these films recently.
Right.
The advertising is too much. I love a good trailer, but we don't need more than one.
Right. I agree.
So keep the secrets secret.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. There's just the marketing machine can't help but do it. What about, are you looking forward to Frozen Fandemonium, a musical celebration?
I don't know if I'll be able to make that one.
But are you looking forward to it? Would you?
It's not on my to-see list.
Is it you're not a big fan of Frozen? You're not a big fan of the music? It's just not high on your list?
I love the music, but I've heard it enough. Yeah, I think it's a little overplayed recently. And I'm not... Frozen is fine for me. But we haven't talked a lot about Frozen, but this might... some people might not agree, but I would take Tangled over Frozen. I think Tangled's a stronger film, and I like the music in Tangled better. I think it's funnier and has a better storyline. So Frozen's fine. I enjoy it. I think it's great that it's done so well because it's put Disney animation back on top without question for young audiences. But I'm not smitten with Frozen.
All right, so we might not hear too much about Frozen.
Sorry for the girls 10 and under out there.
I think there's an oversaturation with Frozen, so I think your feelings are probably... I don't know that people would say they like Tangled better, but I do think that a lot of people are. But I think a lot of people are tired of Frozen at this point.
And I think give it some time. I'll definitely watch it again in the future, and it's a fine film. It's it's great. It has so much going for it, but it's overrated.
How about
we were doing that segment?
How about the in conversation with the filmmakers and the emotions behind Inside Out? That's on Friday.
Yes,
you won't be there. I don't believe.
Yeah, I saw that one, and I will not be. I'll be there just on Saturday. It's a 3 days in total. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm missing that, but I would love to be there. I adore the cast of Inside Out. I think it's a really well cast film, and each actor brings so much to it.
Right. I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'll see it online, but I'm looking forward to your firsthand impression of the floor, what you see on the floor, and all the exhibits that are not presentations. Because sometimes there's nice little gems there and cool things to see. So I can't wait to hear from you. Is there anything you're looking forward to maybe seeing in that area?
I'm just excited about the energy of being around all these people that have a passion for Disney, and it might be in just specifically the parks or Pixar or Marvel films, but just to be with a group of people that are passionate about Disney is really exciting. And also for looking around on the floor for fun, product, not things they're selling, but little, pen trading, and I just enjoy watching that and possibly participating, but I think that's fun.
Two things I want you to look out for me. One is John Lasseter's Hawaiian.
Get my pen and
John Lasseter's Hawaiian shirt collection. They're doing some sort of display.
Stop! Oh, seriously, I did not know this. I love that. I'm a big John Lasseter fan.
Say aloha to John Lasseter's film-themed Hawaiian shirts. And that's a display of his shirts. Yep.
That's great.
I don't know if you can purchase them, but it sounds pretty cool, right?
It is incredible. His shirts, I mean, I've watched some interviews with him, and I've seen a behind the scenes at a day in his life, and they take you into his closet. But it's incredible. I mean, for Inside Out, he takes them. I mean, I guess he has access to the footage from the film, but he takes... he just took the memories from Inside Out and turned it into a shirt. It's really cool.
If I could get away with going to work in a Hawaiian shirt every day,
I think that would be... He goes to the premieres in them. He doesn't... I don't think he owns
what a life
suit.
he has. I mean, he works very hard and he's brilliant and everything. But man, to just throw on say
cool.
I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt and you're gonna look at me and you're still gonna be like,
me.
cool. That's pretty awesome. And the other thing is a little bit more obscure is there's a new book regarding an animator's gallery, Eric Goldberg, and he was the lead animator on Genie from Aladdin. He worked on, or was he animator or the director of Emperor's New Groove? He was a co-director
Underrated.
co-director on Pocahontas. He also Pocahontas. Excuse me. Did I say Pocahontas?
I was like
Pocahontas.
Somewhere out there.
Sorry.
Native Americans
Pocahontas.
are crying.
My apologies. And he also was working on I don't think it's been seen, animated MC Scat Cat short. Remember Paula Abdul, Opposites Attract? MC Scat Cat.
That's her most famous music video.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that, and then
that's an amazing resume.
Yeah,
that's really great.
It's not done. He also contributed to Wreck-It Ralph, and he
movie.
Get a Horse, the short that I believe won an Oscar. Get a Horse.
Do you know what film it preceded?
I think it preceded Frozen, and it was the 3D one in the screen.
Yeah. So that was great because it brought back the classic, super classic Disney characters.
Yeah, and he was also a director of animation on Looney Tunes Back in Action, which was so he's done a lot of things.
This is a book coming out.
Yeah, it'll be, I believe, on the floor, and he's just
maybe
I read up on him a little bit.
Snag a copy because that sounds great.
The Genie animation is the thing that drew me in because that's one of my favorite.
Does the book have
characters.
a title?
I believe it is An Animator's Gallery. Eric Goldberg draws the Disney characters.
An Animator's Gallery.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's a collection of
it might be
some
a
of his
coffee
work.
table book. I'm not sure. I don't know anything beyond.
Yeah,
I just read up on the
that
press release here.
Really special.
Okay, so
I dig it.
That's we'll look forward to your report from there, and I'll be there in spirit with you. Okay.
Sounds great.
Sit down, movie lovers. Here comes movie reviews.
So now we have a quick look at review of Ant-Man, and we are going to talk about the Marvel Universe a little bit as it attaches to that. So Ant-Man is the newest Disney movie starring Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas. I have seen it. My co-host has not.
I have not.
Yes.
For time reasons.
Right.
And I wasn't jumping at the gun or whatever the phrase is to see it.
Right. So she will see it, I hope.
I have seen an extended 20-minute trailer. It's in Disney California Adventure, where there's usually It's Tough to Be a Bug attraction based on A Bug's Life. They've temporarily shut that down, and they're doing an extended trailer for Ant-Man in 3D, 4D, I guess, because they throw water at you. And that was I was more impressed with the film than I thought. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it is. I'm a big Marvel fan, and Ant-Man to me ranks. I want to see it again. It ranks more towards the top for me. I think it's a smaller movie compared to a lot of the other ones. Recently we've gotten the Avengers and the Captain Americas and stories that are really quite large. And this one is really very focused, and there's a sense of humor in it. Michael Pena, when I hope I pronounce his last name, is a great supporting character. He steals a lot of scenes in it, and I like Paul Rudd. I think he's got a nice. He's just funny to me. He's one of my favorite actors, probably working today. And the action, I will something that sticks out. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but the action. A lot of people kind of say it loses steam in the end. I felt almost the opposite. The last half an hour, you really get to see a new type of. It's not just people punching people. He shrinks. He goes bigger. It's different. It's different than what we've seen. We've seen a lot of hammers being hit and people shooting lasers. And granted, Yellow Jacket, the villain, has some sort of plasma cannon thing on his back. But it's really cool to see how they use his ability to grow small and large and fit into places, and how they play with certain everyday household objects around the home. Mm-hmm. It really, I kind of saw that. I said, it's going to get a tired trick. I might like the movie, but how are they going to do this? How are they going to make it feel interesting and fresh? And they really did a nice job. And I would actually argue that it's probably one of the best movies for somebody who is just mildly interested in the Marvel Universe or hasn't seen all the movies to start with, you can really pick up and not feel lost. Feel like it's a smaller story.
And so I have to ask, my biggest kind of, not fear, but I was kind of struggling with the size thing and feeling like he was still a superhero. I mean, and it felt a little Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to me in parts.
I
mean, there's
you
parts
have
where
to
you're
suspend
like,
your
you
disbelief.
can just smush him now.
Right.
Like, I don't know. And you never felt that.
No, you have to suspend your
still felt
disbelief.
like
First of all, he has the strength.
Protect you.
When he gets small, I get the idea that ants can lift like 100 times their weight or something. I don't know what. Okay, I don't know.
We gotta do our ant
it's a lot more,
research.
maybe 10 times their weight.
They don't teach you anything in the
Right.
movie.
But he's so
They don't
fast.
teach you ant facts.
He's so fast and speedy and strong in this suit.
Right.
And they never make it feel like. I'm trying to remember. I wish I'd seen it more than once to see if there's a spot where somebody tried to step on him. I'm sure there was when he first shrinks. There's parts where he's going through everyday obstacle. They kind of introduce him in the Ant-Man suit in a fun way. And there's a part where I think he's on a dance floor and there's people stomping around. And they make it work. You don't care about that. Once again, suspend your disbelief.
And in the future, is he an Avenger?
Yes.
Okay, and he contributes. They need him.
Yeah, he was a member of he and
I'm
Wasp
just so
were a member
curious
of
how
the
they can
Avengers.
help him. How they can help. Right?
Well,
Do we have the little guy?
There's a scene in the movie.
How are we gonna fight?
There's a scene in the movie where they
After the credits?
No.
Oh.
In the middle of the movie, without giving to it, they address how he fits in or matches up with the Avengers.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that. A very cool scene. They really do a nice job of making it part of the bigger universe, but it's very self-contained individual story. And this is a good opportunity since we haven't talked yet about Marvel. Marvel, outside of the theme parks, might be my second love of what's going on with Disney right now. Star Wars is up there too, but the Marvel universe we have, starting with Iron Man, is just everything my inner 10-year-old wish he had when I was actually 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I collected comics when I was younger, and to see these characters come alive and intersect in each other's movies. This is how it worked in the comics. It was brilliant of Marvel, who wasn't owned by Disney back then, but Disney acquired them.
Until and the first Avengers film was when Disney technically owned them. So any film prior to that was not a Disney Studios film.
Right. I guess I don't have to the chronology, but that sounds right. That sounds right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Which
is when people say, I mean, the first Avengers was when people really, I think, started to take extreme notice. I mean, people praised the first Iron Man. The second one is not as good. But I'll let you continue.
I think the first Avengers is very good, not without its little flaws, but very good. But I will say that I was hooked at Iron Man, the first Iron Man. I was then hooked again at the first Captain America. I continue to be hooked at Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. Just there's there's a couple less than ideal films in there.
There's some that
I don't love the Thor series. I like certain things about Thor, and every Marvel movie is entertaining to me, and I can rewatch any of them. That said, I think like in the first Thor, the Earth scenes are really one of the weaker elements of any Marvel movies. It just I like when they're on Asgard more than when they're on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the movies are good or okay at least, and that's it's kind of my Pixar in a way right now. There hasn't been a stinker in the bunch. There's been so ones, but not a stinker.
So there's been no Cars 2, you would call it.
Yeah,
there's not been a single one that's really. All of them have been really solid films.
The Thors would be the closest one for me, and that's not to say I dislike them. I just something about I love, as I said, I love when they're on Asgard, when they're on other planets, and
right.
I think there's just something about the Thor movies that are okay, and I'm looking forward to Ragnarok. That's the next Thor.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it, and of course I'll be one of the first in line. But something about it doesn't have the same connection that Captain America has for me, or Guardians of the Galaxy, or Ant-Man, or Iron Man even does. And Iron Man 2 is not, it's one of my least favorite, of course. But I don't know. Once again, it's the inner.
I had to go back and remind myself. Yeah. Well, so on my end, I definitely appreciate Marvel and really like it and prefer some films over others. It's definitely one of my weaker interests, I guess you could say.
It's okay, Briers. You can't be perfect.
Forgive me. Thank you. I guess I found the films. So I have some that I'm really passionate about and want to be there opening day, and I'm invested for future films. So I also loved the first Iron Man, and I was all in, loved it.
You know where I was hooked at the point, I don't know if you remember this, that he's in the desert or fighting terrorists or something like that, and he raises his hand and fires his plasma cannon at them, and then he just does it and just walks towards the camera. That's when I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like,
so I knew I was going to be speaking with Rick about Marvel, and that he's very well informed, and I don't rewatch these films as much, except for there's one series I'm very into. So I went back and rewatched some trailers to get me refreshed, and keeping some of them. That was my biggest fault with some of the Marvels, and especially the Avengers films and those ones coming together. They've all started to run together a little too much, and it's like, what's really standing out here? What do we want to revisit? But that moment was in the Iron Man trailer.
Okay.
And it is great. And I think Iron Man comes down to casting. I think Robert Downey Jr., I don't know who else could have done it so well. He plays that narcissistic billionaire so well.
Marvel has a good track record of casting perfection in their roles. I mean, I'm sure there's some debate out there, but I don't think there's anybody that I've looked at, any of the heroes at least, and said horribly miscast.
From the Disney moment on, I mean, I think I love Edward Norton, but I think his Hulk was I like oh my goodness, the current Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo.
Right.
I love Mark Ruffalo so much better.
Edward Norton was fine.
I love Edward Norton.
Edward Norton didn't walk away. Edward Norton didn't walk away because he wasn't the right for the role.
That's your Cars too. Let's be real. That's actually
I like the Incredible Hulk.
The 2008 Incredible Hulk with
Edward Norton
and Liv.
Yeah,
interesting.
Edward Norton walked away.
That's a bad film.
Not because he wasn't right for the part, but supposedly because he had he was clashing with the studio and the director or whatever. It wasn't because I like Mark Ruffalo. Film?
So he would have been the role in the Avengers film? Or for a sequel of The Incredible Hulk?
I think had there not been...
I thought it didn't do well enough for them to bring it back.
No, I think it did. It did okay. There's complicated...
I rewatched that trailer and was reminded how... I think the CGI wasn't there yet, or they didn't have it. There are moments where it doesn't look real, and it's so like it's either him fully or a CGI Hulk fully, and I think they did a better job of bringing some of Mark Ruffalo to the Hulk. When he is the Hulk, you still see the human actor in him, and that's completely lost. We're getting specific on a bad film.
Right, but no, I don't think it's bad. There's so many other good ones. Let me rewind and say the reason why they haven't done another Hulk film is there's a Universal weird thing that I really didn't study.
That's the one film that Universal Pictures put out, so they must have some rights to it.
Yeah, Universal Hulk can be in
fine.
Team movies.
They've made how many? But there were Hulks before that. The Eric Bana one.
The Ang Lee one was terrible.
This is the thing. They've tried with this character.
I like the Incredible.
Not working.
It works great in the Avengers. He's one of the best characters in the Avengers.
I think it works because he's not carrying the film entirely.
Well, maybe, but I don't think the Incredible
guy
Hulk,
who's angry.
Right. The Incredible Hulk to me is not. Well, it's not the best movie. I think it's a decent movie. I think it's a decent movie.
Which they were pointing out I was watching the Honest trailers. If you've ever seen those, get around. They're great to watch. And I watched that for the Avengers, and they were reminding me and pointing out how the Incredible Hulk suddenly has control over his anger and can control when he goes in and out of being the Hulk conveniently as an Avenger.
If there are any Marvel fans, please tweet us at hashtag the Disney Click.
At the Disney Click on Twitter.
At the Disney Click on Twitter. And tell Briers how wrong or right she may be. Once again, I want to state that I'm not saying Incredible Hulk is the best movie. It's not trash either.
Oh, I think most people will agree the Incredible Hulk
that it's terrible?
Yeah, I think it was not a liked film. We'll have to look back at reviews on, on the critic side as well as just everyday fans.
Fair enough.
People did like Avengers, the first Avengers, and that I did not. I liked the beginning. I liked the banter. I thought the cast did so much together. It was so engaging. And then they got into these aliens. And I love an action film. I'm not one to prefer a rom-com. I genuinely love action. Science fiction is my favorite genre. But these aliens started coming in, and it was there were so many of them. It was unrealistic. I was like, honestly, I'm going to call the aliens are going to win this one.
You're
when
talking
the Avengers won
a movie that has a guy from a magical hammer from Asgard, a guy who turns into this big green thing. The aliens, when the aliens come, oh God, now we're getting too unrealistic here.
No.
Sorry,
I'm
out.
Not unrealistic. I was like, okay, fine. I'll buy that there are this many aliens. That wasn't my thing. It was, I don't think the Avengers should have won. I think they created too big of a problem. They just kept pouring out of the sky. And then it was like convenient. Once they just shut off the portal, everything's taken care of. It just wrapped up way too quickly. And there's only like 5 of them, and they're each just throwing off one alien at a time, while millions are streaming through the sky.
Right.
It just got so big, and it was like, can we go back to Tony Stark bantering with Captain America? Because that was more clever.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I think I love the Avengers movie. It has its flaws, but the ending, the battle, when they finally come together, it just when Hulk smashes Loki. In that moment, it shows off what's great about them coming together. So I can't disagree with you. I couldn't disagree with you more about this.
Let's agree to disagree.
Okay. So
let's go to a Marvel thing that I love. My number one Marvel film, hands down, no questions, is Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw this twice in theaters within a week. I was tracking people to go, finding who will go, who hadn't seen it or wanted to see it again. And I loved it. I think it was hilarious and original, and I loved the characters, and all of the battles were never extreme, and it all made sense. And I mean, it made sense within a superhero universe. So that is my favorite Marvel film. I'm every sequel, I'll be there.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dropped in and out with Thor and Captain America. I've seen.
What haven't you? I love Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way, and so
good.
But there's a few you haven't seen. I'm curious, what are the few you haven't seen?
So I've seen. I was counting. I did some research on my history. I've seen 7 of 11 that have come out in. There've been 11 films in 8 years.
So you haven't seen 4. Which 4 have you not seen?
I have not seen all of the Incredible Hulk because I couldn't get through it. I apologize that I stopped a film that was torturously
that sound? That's
bad.
That's me poking holes in your argument that it's a terrible movie.
Is the last 5 minutes or where it suddenly becomes amazing? I got to rewatch it.
What are the other 3 you haven't seen?
Iron Man 3, because after and I watched the trailer last night to be like, what did I miss? And we can have a whole discussion on that. It just, no. And because I love the first one. I think the second one with Iron Man, they just started kind of veering off, and it kind of lost its trajectory and its purpose. Did not see the most recent Avengers because I had so much fault with the first one. I was like, I'm not putting myself through that again. And I was like, what could be bigger than these aliens? You'll have to tell me.
Right.
I guess they had to have a bigger problem.
Right.
And
Ant-Man.
Right. So those are my 4.
Okay. Well,
that's not bad.
Look.
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
We don't have to be fans and have seen everything. That's one thing about the show is that we're not going to.
I'm not going to make myself see something I'm like, this is not my jam.
Right. And truth be told, if I didn't have kids, I'm sure there's a few Disney movies here and there that I wouldn't have seen. So that's
like Pixar films or
Pixar film. No, Pixar film. No, Big Hero 6.
What you have not seen? Frozen.
I might. It was such a phenomenon. Maybe I would have eventually had to see Frozen.
Roped you in.
And Big Hero 6 was based on kind of a Marvel property.
Big Hero 6, I adore.
Like
we can talk. Talking about Marvel, I love Big Hero 6.
Zootopia, for instance, is a film that maybe if I didn't have kids, maybe I wouldn't go see. It could be great.
You still don't have to see it.
I'll probably see it though. I mean, I definitely will see it.
When the reviews come out and it's like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes,
I definitely will see it.
Let's go. Why not?
The point is, it's okay that you're not obviously the biggest fan.
I really do like Marvel. It's finding what hits and misses. There've just been. I think it's they've started to run. I was counting 11 films in 8 years. That's a lot,
right?
It's just a lot. I'm excited for where they're headed. I think they're branching out a little bit more. And I'm really excited about the ones to come. And I do have interest in seeing Ant-Man because it does seem appealing and different.
Right. Okay. Well,
Guardians is where it's at.
I love Guardians, but
So good.
there's a lot of Marvel talk in the future, so we
Yes,
don't need to exhaust it
for
here.
sure.
It's as I said, it's one of my favorite things, so we will get back to it in future podcasts.
And I enjoy talking about it.
Okay.
And now, the Disney List.
So now for this week's top 5, the Disney List, we are going to be doing top 5 tips and tricks for a trip to Disneyland.
Hey, it's time for tips and tricks.
So this is any advice we have. It can be pretty much anything that we would tell someone who was going to go, who hadn't been, or even just, doesn't go regularly, or anyone that we think, here's some advice that will make your trip better. So would you like to start us out?
Would you like me to start out?
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
My tips and tricks are pretty easy, can be pretty general, maybe aren't exactly what you'd think, but these are things that have helped me in my countless trips to Disneyland. Number 5, it's the little things, Briers.
Oh.
Free chocolate at Ghirardelli.
I thought of doing that.
You
That's a
walk
good
in there.
one.
I mean, how many? You don't get free stuff. Maybe you get an occasional map for free, or a piece of confetti from a parade for free. How many places can you go and get something really good for free? You walk into that Ghirardelli in Pacific
and it's
Wharf.
high quality
Yeah,
chocolate.
it's great
this
chocolate.
Is not just
It's great chocolate. You walk
and
in
they'll
there.
have different flavors based on the season. Do you want to tell
was-
people
wait,
exactly where they need to go to get this?
It's Pacific Wharf. It's by. It's right across from Boudin Bakery, right next
kind of
to
behind
Bugs
Carsland, to the right of
yeah.
Carsland.
And I will
There's
say,
also free bread.
yes.
Don't forget
Is
I
it
like to do both.
the
You
free
get
bread is still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
the free
'Cause
bread's
they
still
redid it
there, and they're
recently.
very generous. If you're like, I'm
Right.
really hungry, they'll give you extra pieces.
Yeah, and you can probably go
lucky.
in. Although I've never tried, but you could probably go in multiple times.
I
ask for
have,
multiple
and
okay.
it has been successful.
Okay.
You can get lots of free food.
The one thing they did recently, about last year and a half or so, they used to give full size Ghirardelli squares,
It's
and they
the
switched to the minis now.
I
And
know.
I mean, look, it's
But
free.
you can go back an hour
exactly.
later, and it'll be a new
But,
person on their shift.
If you're just if you need a sweet fix, you get that sea salt and caramel little
so
square
good. The
or
dark chocolate,
whatever you like, and that's go
It's
for
delightful.
it. It's free,
a
people.
great free
Disney
snack.
doesn't do free too often. Take advantage of it. What's your number 5?
It's good. My number 5 is also very, very simple, basic, but anytime someone's going, especially if they've never been, and this is right now, in a few years, it'll be different with a new attraction, but Fast Pass Radiator Springs first thing when you get to the park, because if you want to ride that ride and not wait it's consistently a 60-minute line.
Minimum.
Yeah. I mean, it's either, I'm always like, I'm either not doing it or I'm fast passing it first thing. So head to that Fast Pass first thing, and you can kind of check it off.
The difficult part about that is I like to time it so I can ride at night if I'm going to be there. I prefer it at night. But sometimes when you get there, it's like a 12 o'clock, Fast Pass. It used to be that you could go anytime after your enter time on the Fast Pass ticket. They changed that a couple years back. So now you have to go within the window.
But this Fast Pass just goes away within a few hours. I mean, depending on the day,
Right.
It's gone by 10 or 11 a.m.
Right.
So you get it while it's available.
Yes. Yeah, good advice. Good
Yeah.
advice. And one of the
Thank
best
you.
rides
Ugh.
in Disneyland.
So
all
great.
of
And great
Disneyland
at
Resort.
night, but
Yeah.
the music,
Yeah.
it's a flawless ride.
I don't trust anybody who doesn't like the ride. You don't have to love it, but if you don't like that ride,
Something's wrong with you.
yes, I think we agree that you
You
are
need
not
to
worthy.
go to Six Flags. Go elsewhere.
Such animosity towards us. We're not
Sorry.
going. All right. So number 4.
Yeah.
This is a simple one, but a really important one to me. Entering Carsland through Pacific Wharf. So you come upon the temptation is to go down into Carsland where the entrance is. So you're looking down Route 66. You see all the buildings.
Okay, yeah.
I think there's plenty of time to do that. But if you really want to get the magic of what they've done with the land, you go through. It's the food court
The
area.
Imagineers,
Yeah, the
it's
food
incredible.
court. So you go to the place where the Pacific Wharf Cafe is and where the Chinese.
Get your free chocolate.
Yeah, you keep
This
on
is
walking
great.
through
Get your
the
free chocolate,
Right,
and while you're eating
right,
your free
you walk through
chocolate,
You walk through the food court, and then you kind of pass this archway, and then all of a sudden it's
you've
like
left the state.
It opens up, and there's
incredible.
these Cadillac Range is right there. It is I love Cars Land. I love
Mhm.
what Route 66 looks like, especially at night. Once again, but when you come on that side of it, the different entrance,
gorgeous.
It's one of
It's
my
amazing
favorite
what they
views.
did building it.
Yeah,
It's a feat
and
of imagination.
I dare say that I would go there first before I'd go the regular way. It's also a little less
Yeah.
crowded. Takes you closer to Radiator Springs Racers if you're in a hurry to get there. Don't do it first thing in the morning because you I don't know that that's open, but that's one of my favorite views, and I think
That's
it's not
great.
to be missed. So.
And I've done some Disney runs through Run Disney, which I definitely recommend for anyone who loves running or is interested in that. And the half marathon and the 10K both took that route, and you went through the wharf in that way, and it's really cool to run. And just a brief information about that is that you start your run at 5:30 in the morning. It's an early bird, but the parks are not open. They're completely empty, and everyone's taking the same route, and the sun is coming up and you're running through the parks, and so you get these great views, and that's one that's definitely memorable. A lot of people are stopping for pictures, obviously, as you should. So that's my connection to that, but that's great
Okay.
advice.
Your number 4.
My number 4 kind of coincides after it goes with 5, my 5. If you've just fast passed Radiator Springs, I recommend you start your day in Disney California Adventure and kind of do your morning there. Again, this could, with families, it could be different if kids are, antsy to get over and see the castle. But I think it tends to be less crowded because everyone starts at Disneyland. So if you start at California Adventure, and then when all the kids are taking their naps or the parades are happening, the afternoon, it's winding down a little, it's, slowing down in Disneyland, head over there when there's pockets of time to get into those rides. So that's my advice for someone who is trying to crank out a lot in one day. And this could be different if you're going for a few days.
And that's a little trickier because there's a big asterisk with that, because if you want to see the new parade, you got to line up well early, and you want to fast pass Space Mountain, you got to early. So
there are a few times. It's all a negotiation.
My family tends to start in California Adventure. I like to be in Disneyland at night. The big part.
Same. It's spacious. You start your day a little more relaxed and not as crowded.
But no matter what, this is a topic for a different day. Disneyland is always the more crowded park. It's built,
and it's smaller.
It's smaller.
That's why
the walkways
they needed
aren't
to build World.
Right. So
spread it out a little.
It's a great park, but
it is.
To start there at California Adventure,
and I think
kind of what
at
I do
night,
too,
there's so much at night at Disneyland.
Yeah.
You can do Splash Mountain and get great
Yeah.
night views, and Thunder Mountain, and the shows there. The fireworks right now are incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that's my advice if you only have a day or a short time.
Fair enough.
You're number 3.
All right, number 3. This is a little bit out of the box. This isn't something to do at Disneyland. This is something to do before you go to Disneyland. I have a website that I love that you can get every piece of information, and if it's not there, you can ask it. Seek advice at disboards.com. disboards.com. It's a great.
You're welcome, Disboards.
It's a great.
For that shout out.
It's a great website that really has so much information. I learned as I was going my first year back at Disneyland, and I went there, and although I'm more of a lurker, every question under the sun is asked there, and I can't stress how great of a site that is for the first time, the veteran. It's just a great.
Never
it's a great
heard
site.
of them, so I'll have to.
It's awesome.
Check it out.
It's really, they've done a great job of building a community, and
cool.
People are so helpful. And sometimes there's debates, but it's pretty friendly. It's very rare you see it get mean or anything like that, and that's nice too, because in this day and age of internet banter, it's not always so nice and helpful. And this is the exact opposite. I find it to be a great resource. So you're number 3.
That's cool. My number 3 is kind of simple and might sound obvious, but save, especially if you're going in the summer, or it tends to always kind of be fairly warm in California. Southern California. Save some air-conditioned rides or events, or with a queue for that hottest part of the day. There's some really neat things like it's tough to be a bug, or
Tiki room.
Tiki room, if that's where your heart takes you. Or I really love the Disney Animation Academy, and not a lot of people know about that, but it's an opportunity to learn how to draw a Disney character. And they do a different one every 30, 45 minutes, and it's brief, and you have a souvenir to take home. You get to take home your drawing. And these are things that kind of are a nice respite from the heat and walking. And there are some attractions like that that people might not know about. Or just even a line like Indiana Jones where you spend some time inside.
It's funny you say that, because that was probably my number 6 or 7 that I just missed the list. I thought of that instantly. And I think when it's hot, you want to get inside. And a lot of people think of it, but a lot of people feel like they have to brave the heat.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's
I
not
think it's
necessary.
like muscle through. But no,
Right.
there's ways to still find these little magical moments that are calmer throughout the day.
And fortunately, the weather at Disneyland is a lot less oppressive than Disney World,
Yes.
so it's not quite as much of an issue there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So, all right, number 2.
Okay.
This is for the Star Wars Star Tours people out there. It's my understanding. I've heard of people trying this. I've yet to try it myself because I want to get my kids back on this ride again. Star Tours, if you want to be the rebel spy, and I don't know if
I want to be the rebel spy.
If you want to be the rebel spy,
I try so hard every time.
At the beginning of the ride, they kind of preface it by saying, the rebel spy is on your shuttle, and they show a picture of somebody in the audience, and you always wonder, how can I be the rebel spy? Well, you look straight ahead without your glasses and hold perfectly still as you get on the ride.
I feel like I've tried. Maybe I haven't tried hard enough.
I know people.
I'm convinced it's usually a cute child.
Maybe.
So I was with kids once, and I was like, "Look really cute now." Like, put on a cute face.
You've heard of this? You've heard of this trick too, as well, or?
No, I did. I guessed. I was like, there has to be something that they're looking for, someone that they can capture that's being more still. Okay. I want to be the rebels, or at least be with like someone in your party.
Yeah, kind of cool. It's a fun little thing,
fun.
and that's how the camera needs to be able to focus on somebody still without glasses, and
that's part of the update that wasn't there before.
Yes, that's the new thing. So that's, if you want to try to be the rebel spy, that's your best chance of doing
advice.
it. So, okay, your number 2.
That's great advice. My number 2 is kind of a personal preference, but I had recommended it to a friend who did it, and I like to pack a lunch and bring lunch with me, and then splurge on dinner, because my 2 favorite restaurants at the park are the Blue Bayou and Carthay Circle.
Oh, you're going big time money there, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So pack like a casual lunch, bring sandwiches, and actually you end up saving time too, because all you need to do is look for some seating, some good seating at the Fisherman's Wharf, or you can just be in whatever park you're at. You don't have to change parks for food options. Right. And it really kind of clips along your day, and then
it's one of the few
rest for dinner.
I will say it's
perfect day.
It's one of the few times my kids get McDonald's. When we go down, we sometimes go down around lunchtime and we eat in the car. And I don't like to give my kids McDonald's too often, but they eat in the car. So when we get to the parks, we can have dinner there. It tends to be a little bit pricier, and it frees us up to feel like, okay, we didn't spend too much money, or we pack lunches. So
doing lunch,
it gets expensive.
And it's not even
on a budget.
It's expensive for food that's not outstanding. You would pay that much, and somewhere in Los Angeles
I think the food is good, but not at those prices.
It's fine.
If it was a normal price, it's great, but it's theme park prices. Yeah. So that's what it is. So,
but you can get a really good meal. I mean, you do pay just a tad more, but you can get a great meal at these nicer restaurants.
Yeah.
But also make a reservation.
At Blue Bayou?
At Blue Bayou or Carthay Circle.
Right.
And you can do that up to 6 months in advance.
But you really don't need to at Disney. Disneyland is a lot more lax with that.
Blue Bayou is tough. And same with Carthay Circle. They're brutal.
Really? A month out? You don't think you
no, a month out you could.
2
but
weeks
I mean going the day of and trying to get in.
That's a little hard.
So people shouldn't,
Blue Bayou is definitely hard. I don't know.
They're
Carthay,
cruel.
Yeah.
They're like...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're come back at 4 p.m. We might have something.
That's a bonus tip here is you don't have to go so well in advance, but don't
do
the day of.
What if you're going around a holiday like Labor Day or something?
Yeah,
that's different too.
Get it a few weeks ahead if possible, just to make sure. Number one.
Simple one.
single rider lines.
Mm.
You hear stories sometimes of them not being as effective. It's luck of the draw, but Matterhorn, Splash Mountain, Radiator Springs Racers, to name a few.
California Screamin' is a
You
great
just,
one.
A ride that can be an hour and a half wait is magically reduced to 20 minutes, half an hour. And if you don't care about riding with who you came with, and some people understandably do, I don't have the option from with my kids. I can't do that, but it's a great option that I think a lot of people don't take advantage of who could. And if you want to maximize your day at Disney, it's a great thing to do. So that's my number one. Simple, but a good one. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And on Radiator Springs Racers, I found that sometimes you'll be in the same car with your friend or whoever that you single rider.
I had that happen.
It's amazing.
Yep, I had that happen.
So you're
once.
like, wait a second.
We weren't next to each other, but we were in the same car.
And that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like bonus. It was awesome. 'Cause we got on about 20 minutes and we're in the same car.
Single rider is great.
Yeah.
It's like Fast Pass, but without waiting for your Fast Pass to kick in.
Right.
It's great.
So your number one.
My number one sounds simple, but it's magical if you do it right. Talk to cast members, not just hi, how are you? Specifically, ask questions. And if you ask questions, so in my experience, I have spoken to cast members and asked them questions about hidden Mickeys and not expecting anything, just honestly expecting them to tell me where a hidden Mickey is. And in doing so, I've gotten immediate get back on the ride. I'm going to help you find. It's like a break from their job for a second. They get to like play and engage with someone.
This is where Disneyland and all the Disney parks, frankly, really shine. The cast members want to help you. They're trained. They're trained to help you. They really are there to make it an enjoyable experience. And I really think the people who work there that are the cast members are some of the best employees around.
They're passionate about it. I mean, their love, why they got the job in the first place starts to come through.
They want to help. They want to make it, even if it's miserably crowded and hot and sweaty, you have screaming kids, you're just tired. They are always going to do their best to help you out.
There's a rumor that they have to answer any question. So even if you just have a question about anything, that they have to answer it or find someone who knows the answer. So test that out. But I mean, like one time I did Indiana Jones experience and asked about a hidden Mickey, and the guy gave me his flashlight, his giant Indiana Jones cast member flashlight, and sent me back on the ride immediately with my friends looking for this. You should ask about it and see if you get the same response. So things like that. They'll just let you get back on or give you fast passes. They want to engage, and they're very, very nice overall. Okay. Overall, there are exceptions. They're humans.
That's a really good number one. I can't sing the praises. I've never had a negative interaction. I've had, if anything, if somebody's just sitting there. I had a lady take my ticket this last trip, and she was kind of She wasn't rude or anything like that. She just didn't. And I was almost like, whoa. And by Disney standards, it was rude, but it really wasn't rude. Right. She just was whatever. Yeah. And that's a testament to how good I feel the cast members are at Disneyland. So
they are.
Okay. Let's on to the next, last but not least.
And now the Disney news.
Okay, so we have a special segment to address the exciting birthday that's happening at Disneyland right now. For those of you who aren't aware, this year marks the 60th anniversary of Disneyland. It opened in July of 1955. July 17th. They just had the actual birthday, which we both missed. I was really bummed. They gave out thousands of cupcakes.
That's what I heard from Briers. That we talked briefly about this. I missed the cupcakes. That's what she was upset about.
A free cupcake, and it had the blue, the coloring, and it had I don't know if it had like a ring in it. They looked.
There was a diamond ring in it.
Just like there was find the diamond ring like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Cool. And I'm sure too, like the Ghirardelli chocolate. You could probably circle back around an hour later and get a second. I love free food. My family went the past weekend, and I was blown away by
the parade and fireworks, the new parade. That's to me is the thing. I have some.
They've cleaned up the park though. They've
I
done
think
a
there's
little
a lot
extra,
of cool things.
a little extra sparkle
Look,
here and there.
there's no new e-tickets, and that's a different story for another day. Once again, but
you wanted entirely new rides for the 60th.
Well, we can't have it every year. I understand that, but it would have been cool to have something. But that said, what they did, the Light the Night parade and the
electrical
Light the Night.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of electrical parade 2.0
parade.
And the fireworks. The electrical parade was amazing.
Oh,
and
gosh.
we did the whole blanket thing, and we camped out a couple hours beforehand. It was really cool.
I give it to the fireworks.
You like the fireworks
yes.
better? Interesting. I like both.
Where did you see it? Because there are multiple screens that they're projecting these images onto.
We could see the castle and the Matterhorn. So we saw the Nemo, Wanahakalugi volcano thing.
So I asked a cast member.
You were in Main Street Station, the Main Street, right?
No. We asked a cast member when we were getting dinner.
Mm-hmm.
This guy asked a simple question of where should we watch the fireworks show, and he. Typical Disney cast member went above and beyond and went into this long explanation and said, I definitely recommend that It's a Small World is the best viewing. And so I have nothing, that's the only one I've seen it at, so I can't compare it to the others, but it was perfect. We were kind of underneath the fireworks.
You could see Matterhorn from It's Small World, I assume, right?
The back though, so we couldn't see any of the projections.
Could you see the volcano part? I don't really want to spoil it too much, but
I don't know. I don't think so.
There was
it fireworks or
separate?
No,
there's a Nemo section where Nemo flies across the sky. I kind of feel bad if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. And Matterhorn turns into Wanahakalugi from the fish tank in Nemo, and so there's lighting and smoke coming out of the top of the Matterhorn.
Cool.
It was my favorite part, and so.
See, what's neat is you can go multiple times and
there's
see
different
it.
things. I want to see it from Main Street.
I plan on going back.
Right.
Same. I want to see the castle because there's a part where they project Walt's image and some historical footage.
I think Main Street is where you get the best view of the projections. That's my understanding.
They were pretty good on It's a Small World because they had so much screen space. It was, and during Frozen, the Frozen song "Let It Go," shocker, they made it snow.
Right.
Which was, and it was so neat. Everyone is around you saying it's snowing, it's snowing.
And there's only one snow machine by the hub too, so you miss out on that unless you're in the right spot.
We were right by a snow machine.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Yeah, no, where I was, you miss out on the snow. You can see it from one place.
It was coming. It came on to us.
I've heard the place that's least desirable is by the Phantasmic viewing area. Well, it's good, but you don't see quite as much there. You see the projections on the water screens and stuff, but they say you kind of don't get. It's a little bit of obstructed. They do their best, and it's cool, but not as good as the other three spots, being Main Street, the Hub, and It's a Small World. Mm-hmm. And as I said, the next time I want to try to do Main Street.
It's a great show in and of itself, too. The songs they chose really great songs, older ones, newer ones. They did a great mix.
I will say that
really well done.
Look, like a lot of people, I'm sick of Let It Go, but I will say
it has a power when they bring it out.
With the fireworks show, it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really need to see it again.
It's got that oomph that matches.
It worked.
It worked.
I have to admit that it really was kind of cool when they did Let It Go. And I won't go back to the Paint the Night parade. The problem is you have to wait if you want to be towards the front, you got to wait a long time. And hopefully, as time goes on, it's hard. It's not with little kids.
Yeah. I'm doing it different. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was amazing. That probably was my favorite.
How many? I think is it. I don't. Oh, I've seen advertisements around. It's like 16,000 or more, 100,000.
1.5 million lights.
That many?
That's what I've seen on the billboards.
Okay,
yeah,
no, I'll believe that. I don't think they would lie to us. I mean,
so.
It's a lot of lights,
so
and none
cool.
are out, and they're so.
My kids,
the Mack truck.
My kids weren't smiling, laughing. They were just mouths open, eyes wide. That's what it was so cool.
It's neat.
So
and just different
the Disney magic
different
right
than
there.
Previous parades.
Yeah.
They've reimagined it.
Yeah.
It was really
and the
cool.
Owl
And
City,
using
the
new
Owl City
technology.
song, the Owl City song they use. When Can I See You Again? I think it's really just well, and there's also the New World of Color. I haven't seen it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen the 60th one, the New World of Color. So I've seen there have been 3 World of Colors that I've seen. There's just the classic. There was a holiday one.
I've seen both of those. Yeah.
Okay, and now the 60th. The holiday one is my least favorite, and then the 60th I'd put second, I love that they bring more of that nostalgia with Walt, and it's hosted
So you said
by
the
Neil
holiday
Patrick.
one's your favorite?
Least favorite.
Least favorite, okay.
My favorite is the classic World of Color. Is so good, and it's kind of a bummer that it's been replaced by all these things.
I haven't seen the new one, so I can't comment on that. I will get to see it, at some point.
Comparing the holiday versus...
Yeah, I really like both of them. I think you have to see the water surface. The holiday one I really like, but I like for the big snowflakes. The snowflakes are really a really cool touch with the holiday one. So
when it snows?
Yeah, and there's a part where they have things that shoot big bubble snowflakes that float into the air, which I thought was really cool. So I only saw it once, and it was surprising to me.
Just the song choices, and it just floated.
Well, it's a lot of Frozen stuff, too.
Yes, it was kind of a Frozen recap.
Yeah.
And if you know how I feel, Frozen's fine, but I want to see the original World of Color just brings something from each film. They show that they show the emotions of each film. It's just hopefully it'll return. Well, but the 60th is great.
I will get back to you when I see the 60th, the World of Color. I've heard mixed things, but I'm going to reserve my judgment. I haven't watched it online.
My recommendation is do the fireworks show for the 60th.
Yeah,
if you can only do one.
Fireworks is the easiest to see. You're going to get a chance to see that without waiting hours ahead of time. You can find it.
You want to find the right projection.
I love the fireworks, and it's almost fair to have to pick one over the other. I preferred Paint the Night, given the choice between the two. I like the Paint the Night, but I like both. I loved both.
Fireworks.
I loved both. It's not a.
You guys got to stay until midnight and do it all.
But
there is. There's so much. That's what's great is you can.
And there's merchandise around. There's merchandise. As I said, they plussed up the Matterhorn as the new Yeti, and the Peter Pan as a new scene. I didn't get a chance to see either one of those yet. They've done things. They've really made the park look great. The castle is decorated for the 60th in blue and silver, and the park looks great.
Yeah, it's extremely well done.
I don't want to turn it into a rant about I need something new e-ticket, what have you, but it's time. It's time, Disneyland. Let's get us a new e-ticket somewhere within the next few years, please.
You mean an entirely new ride?
Yeah, a new e-ticket ride. Yeah, something big, something like a Radiator Springs Racers or a Big Thunder Mountain, or even just I don't know what it would be.
Radiator Springs Racers just opened.
How many years ago now?
3 years ago.
Yeah, that's.
So you think for the rest of time they should have a new ride every 3 years?
It'd be nice. I mean, that might be asking too much.
Yeah, I think that's asking a lot.
I think
you want to keep some of the you want to replace.
You're not going to replace the classic
Tiki Room, but other than that,
okay.
Well, we'll let you guys chime in with your own thoughts. Yes. If you've experienced the Disneyland 60,
yep.
Let us know your own thoughts. And tweet us always at the Disney Click, and be sure to also follow us on Instagram at the Disney Click. And you can use the hashtag #Top5DisneyClick if you have your own tips and tricks that you want to share with people. We'd love to hear them.
That'll do it for tonight's episode. It's been fun once again.
It has.
And I look forward.
Lively as usual.
Yes, yeah. We had a little more agreement tonight in some spots.
Yeah.
We
Here
tried.
and there.
Okay.
Sprinkling.
Okay. Sprinkling of pixie dust magic, maybe, that we actually agree on something. So, all right, guys, it's been fun. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. The Disney Click is a Meltdown Presents production. Produced by Terri Lubaroff and Mason Booker. Audio engineer, the miracle worker, Mason Booker. With your hosts, Rick Lubaroff and Briers Newman. Our theme song, King of the Swingers, is performed by the Swing Ninjas and provided by freemusicarchive.org. Jazzy Frenchie is our break music and can be found on bensound.com. End credit music Dill Pickles is performed by the Heftone Banjo Orchestra and provided by freemusicarchive.org. Don't forget to tweet us at the Disney Click. You can also follow us on Instagram at the Disney Click. Use the hashtag #Top5DisneyClick to share your own top 5.